what gets Israelis protesting? What gets them ticking, right? Like what really drives them to fight for their rights and the rights of others? What is it? Well, a lot of Israelis lately have been protesting against COVID restrictions, against vaccines, stuff like that. For example, on the 3rd of October, as you can see in this article, heavy traffic expected throughout Israel due to anti-vaxxer protests. Protesters march against COVID-19 restrictions in Tel Aviv. Let's get out onto the streets and march against having to get vaccinated and not spread a deadly virus, right? You know what else they also protested about years ago? The price of cottage cheese. Massive mobilizations about the price of cottage cheese. Complaints over price of cottage cheese spark Israel's biggest demonstration. It started with 90,000 people joining a Facebook protest against cottage cheese prices, and it ended with the situation curdling and 300,000 people taking to the streets around the country. So this is a country that is actively doing settler colonialism, actively inflicting apartheid on Palestinians, actively doing a whole bunch of awful shit to essentially a marginalized third-class population, right? And what do the citizens complain about? It's not that. It's the price of cottage cheese and life-saving COVID measures. What shit like this shows is that the Israeli proletariat, average Israelis, could very easily bring down apartheid and settler colonialism against Palestinians if they wanted. But they don't, because they don't want to. They're invested in it. They benefit from it. They like it. You know what gets them going? Not the mass oppression of Palestinians, not the theft of Palestinian land, not apartheid. Cottage cheese prices and having to get a life-saving vaccine. This is the essence of Israel for you. This is what the average Israeli is. Okay? That is a fact. The average Israeli is like this. They don't give a shit about what they do to Palestinians. What they care about is the price of cottage cheese and having to get a life-saving vaccine and shit like that. And they could easily mobilize for Palestinian rights, for Palestinian sovereignty, you know, for the treatment of Palestinians as human beings. But they don't. At least not even remotely on this level. Only for cottage cheese. You know, anyone who talks about, like, I've seen people who are like, oh, we need unity between the Israeli and Palestinian proletariat. None of this nationalist, anti-Israeli colonialism nonsense. Well, quite clearly, there is no unity between the Israeli and the Palestinian proletariat because the Israeli proletariat doesn't fucking do anything for the Palestinian proletariat that their country is actively marginalizing. Me when the price of cottage cheese is too high. Oh, me when Palestinians are living in abject misery and when my countrymen are stealing their land every single day. Average Israeli. There you go. Honestly, cottage cheese might as well have personhood in Israel. It's worth more than a Palestinian to them.